Hello everybody! Welcome to my channel and to Sewing Made Easy. My name is Lilo Siegel and it is definitely my pleasure to show you some of the things I know how to do, and maybe I can teach you as well, because that's what I want you to do. I want you to learn something when you're watching my videos. That's why sometimes maybe you think they're not so easy, but I promise you, if you follow me step by step of whatever I'm showing you, you will find out you are going to be able to do it as well. So what am I going to teach you today, or what am I trying to teach you today? You know, jeans material. Everybody loves jeans, no matter if it's trousers, if it's a shirt, if it's a dress, or whatever. So I will make a double to be used pocket in a jeans shirt. You can do the same as an example in a blouse, in a dress, or even in a jacket. Officially, you think it's one pocket, but there's actually secretly a second one underneath. So I hope I got you interested right now. Because of that, we can start. Let's get going. Let's get cracking. Let's get to the job, to the work. Here we go. So let me start by showing you first of all what this pocket is going to look like. You got your flap here, and you can see the normal just stitched on pocket, which most of you know is very, very easy to do. But if you look correctly, underneath here you find this zipper. And in this zipper, when we open it up, we got another pocket, which in other words we got two pockets here, and exactly that I will teach you how you can do that as well. Because when we look from the left side, and that's what's very important, you see we have a very clean picture here. We have no edges from the cutting the material, neither underneath or here on the top. Everything is really tidy looking. Of course, you can see my shirt is not quite finished because I haven't put no button on yet, which I will do later definitely. And the rest isn't done either. So with other words, in this video, I really only show you how to do this lovely double pocket. Okay, so what exactly do you need pattern-wise to do this? You can see my shirt has a cut, approximately not quite half if you look at the armhole. It's a little bit lower down. So maybe you have a pattern which has this already included, a cut there. If you don't, it doesn't matter. Measure it out that you got a good third of the armhole here and a smaller 2/3 of the armhole here. And in a right angle from the front, you do a line, you cut it through, and then you add, in this particular case, 2 centimeters of a seam allowance on the top here, and here 1 centimeter. I've cut this out already, I'll explain in a moment, but your 1 centimeter is right here. You would cut it straight first. Now you need to measure which kind of zipper you want to stitch in that. My zipper is 14 centimeters long, and you can see I cut this hole on 13 centimeters in the length, and I cut 1 centimeter down on each side. That kind of space I cut out because that makes it easy for me to exactly go in the right positions then to put my 14 centimeter zipper into this hole where it will go. So my next preparation after I've done the cutting here, I first prepare a normal pocket, no matter which size or which shape, because I got this pointed here. You can make a straight one here or a round one. You can add some extra stitches for design on like I did, but it's all not necessary. You finish that totally off, iron it flat. So also here when you look inside, there will be no cut edges inside. It really looks tidy. That will go somewhere there. And if you want a flap on it, of course you could also leave it so the zipper is shown, but I think it's very nice if it's not shown. So you make yourself this flap just a millimeter on each side bigger, larger than the actual pocket is, because it doesn't really look so nice if on one of the sides the pocket would show out. Although this is all a matter of design. I've seen pockets made before where the flap was smaller than the pocket. This is an idea as well, and it's up to you what you make out of it. Alright, so you prepare these two parts like I showed you here. And you can see, of course, on the left side I don't have this pattern because it wouldn't be shown with those stitchings in. Now you need two more pieces for the pockets that go in the inside for the zipper. And I've been just using exactly the same pattern that I actually used for this pocket which I stitch on. You can see this, there was a centimeter seam allowance there. So I take the same one, put it on a duplicate piece of material. As you can see, we need a pair, yes, that's the case. And I cut it all the way around, approximately 1.5 centimeters bigger than this pocket, which I've been cutting for the main pocket on the top, because we need that later. You can also give it that shape, but I want it to be straight on the bottom for the inside. But important is you must make it at least 1.5 centimeters on each side larger than this pocket, which I cut in this exactly size. Alright, and there's two more little things we need besides the zipper, which I got here already. We need one little stripe of material, approximately the length of the zipper. And as you can see here already, I stitched this little stripe onto the part that will be facing towards the top, because I like my zipper to be closed towards the front and it's open towards the armhole. So I take this piece that I cut, this little piece, stitch it on here and flatten it a little bit. Why I need this, as you know, a zipper only has about an 8 or 9 millimeter bend inside here. And for this particular job, it could be just a little bit tight to grab this zipper when I'm doing some of the next jobs. And therefore I extended practically this bend by just stitching this little piece of jeans material onto here. And you see, it's been stitched, so this side is clean. That's important, because now this particular piece I cut much wider. I ironed 1 centimeter over. How wide you cut it, I got it, I think, on 6 centimeters cut in the width. That's up to you. It can be 8, it doesn't matter. But now this one has got to be the width of this pocket for the inside that we cut, because later on it will be to cover up the seams underneath. But you see this, and you see I got this now exactly the same width as my pocket for the inside. So that's all the preparation we got to do. And now my first job is to stitch my pocket on here. Therefore, I worked it out with the zipper that I got, the width of the zipper and how I want to stitch this in, that I will measure now exactly from my cut edge 3 centimeters to this corner of the pocket, the same on the other side, 3 centimeters exactly, and I'm measuring and looking that I, if possible, be as much exact in the middle between my cutout here for the zipper, that this pocket is really completely middle in this position where my cut is. So 3 centimeters both sides. I'll stitch this on just with a millimeter around, as you can see here on the finished pocket, which I've done in the German language. And to make sure these little corners will not rip out when you put something inside, it's always good to stitch a little triangle. To explain to you how I usually stitch this on, I actually started here to stitch. You can maybe see that there's a little couple of more threads there. I start right there, go a bit down, go across up here like in a triangle, go 2 stitches across, then go around to there, 2 stitches across, go down if possible on the same length as there, and just do another 3-4 stitches in the same stitching that are existing already there. And I make sure that I didn't make them too long, not that they're looking out like that. That wouldn't be nice either. So let me put this pocket on and then we continue. When I got so far, I first of all check to make sure that my flap will really be in the right position for the continuation, as later on this will go exactly even with this top edge of our cutting here. And if that's all right, I can put it on the side for the moment. And we take one of our other pockets which we cut, put it underneath. Now if it's a jeans material, it doesn't really matter, and it's up to you which side you put up or down. But important now is that you put these cut edges exactly against each other. They got to be totally even, something like that, as you see here. And you got to check that you approximately, the better of course, the better, the more even the better, that you have on both sides the same amount from this cutout, the same amount of pocket standing. At the moment this is a bit smaller, there's a bit more, so I slightly pull it over until I see this is on each end exactly the same amount of pocket standing over from this cutout. Now I take my zipper, which is prepared with those parts as I mentioned, and I just take my end, which I can open, and stitch it somewhere at the end together. So this zipper is held as if it's the end, but it's the beginning. But that is a nice preparation to continue my next job, which is then easier for me. As I mentioned before, I want the zipper to be closed when it's in the front and open when it's towards the sleeve hole. So now you take this zipper, fold it over, so it's lying underneath. You see it there, you see the left side of the zipper facing you here. And now I put this exactly again in the middle, the same as underneath. They got to fit together, my pocket underneath with this stripe that I got on the top. And as well, if I check, then my zipper should be just going slightly over this cutout that I got here, and the same on the other side. I know it's all dark colored here now, you won't see this very well, but I'm over this cutout with my zipper, but I'm still inside from this pocket which I stitched on, because it would be terrible if you stitch too far out here and then your flap will not cover the zipper, and we don't want this zipper to be shown, to be seen. So this edge also from my zipper, I'm now lying evenly with this cutout edge. Now I put it under my sewing machine. Look exactly, or maybe you can feel it, where your zipper starts or ends. In this case it's the end of the zipper, as we know, and that's exactly where I'm going to be sewing now. And it's important that that last stitch is really held. Make sure you did a good back stitching right there. Here, as I mentioned, it's edge on edge with the underneath cut out, and I stitch as close as possible to my zipper underneath. I can feel it here. Maybe you want to put a half foot on your sewing machine. That makes it a little bit easier than what I'm doing here, because you can see it's easy to slip off, although I got my foot lying on top of the zipper, but that doesn't matter. Then I just go over again and feel the zipper underneath, and my needle runs exactly along the edge of the zipper. And when I get to this point, I got to open my zipper because no way I can get past it. And I look, or I feel, where is the actual end of my zipper. And that's exactly how far I stitch. And also here again a very well back and forward stitching. So we're checking this now by opening it And you can see already, as I showed you on the finished one, that's my zipper right now here. And I can check here to make sure my zipper ends about here and my pocket is here. That's good, it's going to be covered. And the same on this side. Now you got to put all your courage together, because you got to do a big cutting here. We got to cut to this last stitch and to that last stitch. Don't cut it from the outsides, then you got a problem. You must cut it from the inside, middle of the pocket, towards this last stitch, all the way to there. Click, with one click, exactly into that corner. And we're doing exactly the same on this corner, exactly onto that last stitch. Because of that now, I can totally flip all of this down and pull my corners that I got here out. So we got two materials here which we cut through. One is the pocket and the other one is our front. And you can see already we got these two triangles now here, which we have to fold over here in a right angle. The same on the other side, but I start sewing here now first. That makes it easy for me. See, it's all loose. All I have to do is exactly into that corner. Make sure you don't have a funny fold here. If you do, that means you didn't cut it correctly onto the last stitch. Then you have to put another little stitch on top. Now you start here, look underneath that nothing else is lying in the way. You'll sew down to this corner. Turn around, look underneath again, and now stitch along this top line. Also here we have to open the zipper, otherwise we cannot get past there. And you see I'm stitching approximately 1 millimeter from this edge. Now I got to pull this corner out again, same as on the other side. And because I held these together nicely, it's lying there as if it's the other side, and I like that very much. Also here, right angle, that's what we want there. Go all the way to this corner, turn around, put this again in position, and finish this seam to the top. Here we go. So we're closing this zipper, and you can halfway imagine already what this pocket's going to look like. Now you remember, on the zipper we had this long piece because we got all these seams in here. And if we wouldn't have put that on, you will always have these cut edges inside. To make this nice and tidy looking inside, we stitch this one down now, and you can see already this is clean. And when we look underneath this pocket, there's no cutting edges to see. It's just nice and clean. Now if your top piece here was a little bit too wide, see here it fit exactly, but here I'm a little bit over because it was just something I cut. So then I even this out to make sure this is again one straight line across. So and now it's time to take our flap, put it exactly in position, here edge on edge, and you see how nicely this covers the zipper underneath. It's just a perfect match as I planned it, or better to say as I hope it would turn out for you. And just with a 5 millimeter wide seam, I go along this top edge now, because it's only a helping seam. It has no other purpose at the moment, because many more seams will go on top of there. All right, so that looks quite good already so far. Now we got to finish this pocket off first, because it's just a piece of material at the moment. So first, when I see that my little part that I just stitched on is hanging over, I first of all cut this even with the pocket. That makes my next job much easier again, because that's what we're always trying to do. We're trying to work that every coming job is an easy job. So get your next pocket piece ready. Now turn your part So the proper side, the right side is facing you again. Flap the front back, put it all the way out of the way. So you practically only see your pocket now. So take your other part, and exactly as you cut it as a pair, you must put it on top of each other. Because you see, this got to fit. Because you got all this front material lying here, and if you don't do it like that it's cut exactly even, you have a problem with some of the next jobs. So as this is even, I can start here on the top now sewing. And I'm doing a 5mm white seam here. Edge on edge, 5mm all the way down and across. The better your cutting is, the easier this job is. Because now you can see, you cannot really, because of all this material here, you cannot really lie it flat. But if I know my pieces were exactly the same size and shape, then it doesn't matter if it's not lying flat in the middle, because I know this got to fit. So 5mm seam on these 3 sides. Now turn this inside out, get the corners out nicely, and have a look so far what you've done. Always check in between. When you've done a seam, look at it. And don't continue without checking, because when you've done many seams and you finally realize an hour ago you've done something which should have been better done, and you want to open it up, you got so much more work than if you check after you've done something. So I turn this that way around now, because after this 5mm seam, I'm doing a 1cm seam now by putting my seam directly there into the edge. And now you can see why this pocket had to be bigger than the one we got on the top, because otherwise I couldn't get past there. And like that, I can go first on the iron board, of course, which you should maybe do. 1cm seam I'm doing now here. Ribble out lovely this edge, go across, and also here we're doing a 1cm seam all the way to the top. Here we go, we're getting very close to a soon ending, as you can see, my friends. Yeah, we have a look at it from this side. You remember? That's exactly what the first pocket looked like, which I showed to you. If you iron this over now, it's going to be gorgeous. Now this is still open, this is klar. That was German, by the way. Das ist klar. Well, sometimes I flip into my own language. All right, we have a look at it again. Our one pocket, and here's our lovely other pocket, as you can see. All right, let's finish this little thing off, because you want to start with this soon, I know that. So to make it a bit easier, again, as this is still open, this other pocket, just stitch this once more together. The more the merrier, or what would you say? Now, when this is not so nice and even, then just trim it off a little bit to make sure this is really a straight line, a straight cut. Because now we're taking our top part. You remember I told you you have a 1cm seam on this bottom part, but you do have a 2cm seam here. The reason is, for this particular seam we're doing now, because I want this seam also to be really tidy inside, and that's why I did it that way. It's a bit unusual, but you can do it that way. So we're doing a left to left material and doing another 5mm seam along this top here. Look right away towards your front, towards your end, to make sure these ends are in line together, not that you have one part sticking over longer than another one. 5mm seam all the way to the end. Good, because now we're folding the top part down, also the pocket. We don't want to stitch over that now. So what I do now, I'm gonna have this edge lying exactly in the groove of my top material here. That means this 1/2 centimeter is inside here now. Because of that, my seam doesn't get too thick and I can really well and easy and clean stitch over this. It doesn't matter if you started from this side or from that side. You must find out which is easier and the best for you, the way you do it on your sewing machine. Because now, similar to the pocket, now I'm doing a 1 centimeter seam. Again, I'm checking underneath to make sure my seam is really lying into this edge. You make it easier yourself if you iron over it once. That you can always do. Sorry if sometimes my hand is in the way when I'm showing something, but as you understand, I also got to hold this very firm, so I'm trying to keep my hand as flat as possible so you see as much of my explanations as possible. And important to really put that cutting edge into that top groove in here and continue all the way with your 1 centimeter seam towards the end. All right, now look at that. We're practically finished. You could leave it like that because, as you can see, the left side again is totally clean and tidy. But I like to put some extra seams on top, some stitching. There's a little thread. I don't like threads all over the place, so I cut it off. What I can also do now, before I do my stitching over, I check once with my first side that I've done already to make sure that my 2 flaps have the same amount sticking out, that it's really the same size. All right, that looks good to me, to my eyes, although they're not the very best. But now I put my 3 stitches into here, exactly as you can see it here already. That means when I do 3 stitches like that, I do the small one first on 1 millimeter, then I do the white one, which is about 6-7 millimeters from that one, and then I put one in the middle. That makes the job very easy, and then you're able to really get them very, very even. So you can see I've done the first one. Now I put the second one on about 6-7 millimeters next to the first one. And depending on which foot you got, you can always have the foot as a guide, because I let this foot now more or less run next to my first seam right there, and that makes it really easy for controlling. You can stitch a little bit slower when you do that to make sure you see it. But when you go too slow, I sometimes find it makes it more difficult to really see the correct distance. And now I put one right in the middle. And there we go. You can see my pocket, which I made for you for this tutorial, is finished. And I can soon continue now to finish off this lovely shirt, and I'm really looking forward to what it looks like at the end. Maybe I'll even show it to you at the end. All right, I say thank you for watching. Thank you for your comments you might be sending me, because I hope for your comments. I love to get comments, and maybe if you tell me from which part of the world you're writing me to, I even love it more. Thank you so much. Stay healthy, stay peaceful, please. All the best to you, and my regards go to you and to all the world. Until one time again, goodbye. From Germany, Lilo.